Hey, welcome back everybody. Today we're talking about what's next in 2024 for Rust Console Edition for the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, next generations, and everything in between. And you know me, I'm Jade Monkey. Okay, so we don't have the official roadmap yet for 2024, but we have a nice list of things that are going to occur or potentially occur this year. Some of them extremely likely, and others are more nice to have. Now, don't get me wrong, I would be elated if we got everything on this list this year, but I think it's typically around 3 or 4. Typically it's 3 big content pieces, and then we have a quality of life at the end of the year. So I think either way you cut it before we find out the official roadmap, if we have any combination of these 3, I think we'll all be happy for 2024. So before we jump into it, if you'd like to support the channel above and beyond, you can always do that through merch. I'll go ahead and link that now in the lower left-hand corner. You can always hook that up if you are so inclined. Okay, so also we should cover this real fast too. If you are looking for a good solo, duo, trio server, or even a nice bi-weekly server, we do have a custom server up and running. You can find that by typing in Jade and then filter by fullest servers first. Yeah, that's right. Boing, boing, boing. We're the top 2 selections. Just be on the lookout for anything that is a copycat. They're just causing a lot of confusion, so just a friendly heads up. Okay, so let's go on to our first item on the list, the one I'm the most excited about. Now, I don't know how likely this one is, but we do know it's on the shopping list. It is air vehicles. Yes, all 3 of these bad boys. We did just get this one in 2023. So we're looking at 3 of these. Now, initially I was like, I wasn't too sure about any of these happening, but after seeing how custom servers have come in and how fast you can move, I think with all 3 of these are potentially on the table, and if they do cut them down, I think it'll be these 2, the Mini and the Scrap Helicopter, but I think they'll try to fit all of these in at the same time. And also parachutes are most likely going to be a part of this as well. And you're probably like, Jade, what do you mean? Didn't they take this off of the table a while ago? The Minicopters? Yes, they did, but this was before they had big performance improvements. The terrain update was one of them. And what was crazy is they prototyped this bad boy early on, and they're like, hey, we're going to need some major improvements before we bring this back. And that's why I was surprised when they did the Double 11 survey back in 2023, well, you know, last year. And they're like, hey, what would you guys like to see? And this came back on the menu. So they wouldn't put this on the menu if they didn't think they could deliver. So I thought that was rather interesting. So yes, Minicopters could potentially happen at some point this year or even next year. Don't get me wrong, I want this to happen immediately because Minicopters are like the thing I want the most for sure. I mean, everybody always asks me, what do you want to see the most? I'm like, Minicopters, trust me. It just opens up the map. It makes it so you can counter cargo ship or just counter in general if you're a solo. It's awesome. It's going to be like, let's put it this way, Minicopters are such a big part of the game. You're going to make garages on your base because it's just one of the things you do all of the time. It opens up the map completely. There's so many other options. It's just such a part of Rust, and I feel like it's not fully Rust yet because we don't have it. Anyways, a nice little preview of the survey here. You can see some of these items have been crossed off, like community servers and horses. Even though I know we're choking on our ability to load up custom server list at the moment, but we do have these major pieces already in. And I highlighted these things in blue here because they're not really content features necessarily. They're more like features. So anyways, on to the next big piece that I think could potentially happen this year. Now, there's a rumor on the street that this is going to be the first update, but it's from an extremely unreliable source. It's not to say that this couldn't happen, but it's just like, you know what I mean? It's just like one of those sources where you're like, I don't know. We do know it's going to happen at some point because you saw back on that survey, the military tunnels is definitely going to be a thing. Now, I think potentially they could group these things together. That's why we have 3 of these here. We're going to highlight it, talk about it. Because just remember, we have technically, if we go off of the historical, we have roughly 3 major content pieces that come in throughout the year. So one of the things they could pair military tunnels up with could be the Arctic base. And the Arctic base is nice, not only because it's in the winter biome, but it also opens up our ability to have snowmobiles. And they work on snow and they work on sand as well. There's 2 variations of this. There's the crusty kind and then there's Tomaha. There is the Tomaha. And you'll find them here inside of the garage doors. I think it's a blue card, if I'm not mistaken, that opens these up, and I think it's a random roll whether or not you get the crusty one or the fast one. But they're really nice for traversing the snow biome, obviously, and it's a really nice point of interest. And it's just, I mean, let's be honest, the more points of interest we have on the map, the better it is for everybody, because when you have like a big group just sitting on the best monument all the time, it just makes it pretty stale. So the fact that we have more variations here, and potentially another vehicle, that this makes this a nice addition. They could pair it up with military tunnels or something else. Another big piece that was on our list back there is the missile silo. That came in 2023 on PC Rust, and this one's very interesting. This one is loaded with loot, and it gives you a bit of lore here, but it also has a super beefy NPC type. It's not just a heavy scientist, I forget what it's called officially, but like they're really decked out. They have like MVGs on. They're pretty nuts, but you can get some really crazy loot here at the missile silo. I think this is potentially something they could group up with the military tunnels for sure. And yes, you do need a blue card to open up the lid, and then you have to traverse all the way underground. So again, really just nice to have more points of interest. Otherwise, those big monuments become a king of the hill situation. It makes it really hard for solos to come up sometimes. Not all the time, but it's just nice to have other areas that have really good loot, because cargo ship makes it a bit stale when we don't have a helicopter, because that is a major point for us to counter or even just to land on board in general. It's really hard when they've got all the different walkways covered on the cargo ship, because the cargo ship has got a lot of juicy loot. Okay, so this is most likely, we do know this one's going to happen at some point this year. It's just a matter of like, is this going to be grouped up? Is this going to be the first one? This is military tunnels here. This would be a nice monument. I think it'll really open things up again. Not only just having, because think about it, we have nice red card monuments on the water, but we need some more back on land. So this will help return the balance to the game itself. So you can see the entrance to the military tunnels there. You can see the exterior, and you can see a little bit of the underground subway system, which I don't think we'll get this year, but I do think it's on the list for us. It's just another cool way to traverse through the map, and I hope we do get it at some point, because it's quite juicy. So it's got different areas here, and it's really nice to have another land-based monument, as I said before. So these are the potential military combinations we could get. I think it's going to be military tunnels at the very least, and possibly missile silos, and possibly Arctic base. Would I like all three of these? Yes, I would, please. So that's what we have over the military side. Let's go over to one of the pretty much all but foregone conclusion of another addition, that is the modular vehicles. That's right. We've seen these bad boys cooking for a while, and we do know pretty much, like I said, a foregone conclusion, and here's why. When we did get our custom servers, one of the options inside of the G portal was the monuments, and there was a junkyard. And the junkyard comes with modular vehicles. They go hand in hand. Not only because you can recycle things there, but also because you can modify your vehicles right there at the monument itself. Also, that lift as a separate item, yes, you do need to learn it, craft it, whatever, but it also requires electricity. So a lot of the prerequisites for this have already happened for us. We already have the ring road system in place. We do know we can definitely go fast enough, because let's be honest, if we can do helicopters, we can definitely do the speed, maximum combination speed for a modular vehicle. It's really nice. The junkyard brings in, and this is the truncated version. As a matter of fact, I don't even know if we should talk about the old one, because the old one was so big and they kind of like pushed it out. This is the junkyard as we know it now for years now. And it also has our ability to use this crane here, where you can actually take either built cars or junked cars and throw them inside of that recycler, and you get scrap, you get metal, you get high quality out of it. It's really nice. Here it is right there. And it's just a cool place to not only build the car, but also scrap cars, and it's really nice traversal for PvP and whatnot. It also has a recycler. And let's not forget our ability to build these custom vehicles, lock them up if we so desire, and it does come with the camper system, which is really, really freaking awesome, because yes, you've got a barbecue, you've got storage, you've got different locker spaces here at the top. This is essentially a mobile base. You put a lock on it, you're good to go. Like, you can go farm somewhere, you can go post up for a raid. It's amazing. Modular vehicles are definitely going to open things up. So if we don't get things like helicopters, this will be a nice bridge in between, as it were. So modular vehicles are pretty much going to be a thing at this point this year. It's just a matter of when, really. All right, on to the next major piece that could occur this year. And I think, again, this one's extremely likely. it is the underwater labs. I'm going to call it the Sea Labs. And here's why we know this one is definitely on the list. So earlier on in the year, again, well, I should say later on in the year 2023, because that's when we got custom servers, we did have the ability to spawn in, or we saw remnants of the tugboat. Yes, it's huge. It is a mobile base on the water. And because we know they're prototyping that already, we do know that the thing that has to go with this, because everything has a balance in this game, right? So this thing's pretty OP, so the counter to the tugboat is submarines, and the submarines come with underwater labs. And we do know it's cooking as well, because again, back in G-Portal, we have two major categories. We have monuments and offshore monuments. And we do know potentially, since they've been focusing quite heavily on the water stuff and stability, they've changed the water, we've added sharks, we have missions, all that good stuff, and now we've seen this prototype because we're able to peel it back during, well, for a short amount of time. They patched it out now, but we actually were able to see some remnants of this spawnable for us on the custom servers. I'm going to say this is definitely cooking up. So yeah, I think we're going to see Sea Labs at some point this year. And it's a big deal because it gives us another point of interest to go to on the water itself. And each of these are procedurally generated, which means if your map seed is different from server to server, your experience in underwater labs is going to be different. It is a true procedurally generated monument, which is great. You can also use the computer system to peep inside of the underwater labs or sea labs. And let's not forget, anything that adds more vehicles to the game, I am definitely all about. And these don't move crazy fast. And I think having these, and yes, you can put these inside of your base. You can make like an underwater garage for these bad boys. This is definitely going to help open up the map as well. And it's really going to help those solos, or those smaller teams as well. It's just a ton of fun to have these out here. And it also points to the tugboat system. And a little extra piece here. We did also see remnants of, and I know this isn't on PC yet, but we do know they are shoehorning it in, the realms, the Nexus system, our ability to have interconnected servers. They're working on that, and we have seen remnants of them actually dealing with realms on the back end. So in order to do that, the ferry system is also worked in. So a lot of stuff on the water needs to be stable and like in place. So again, also pointing back to the underwater labs, because you need the tugboat, you need the submarines, you need all of that stuff. So a lot of things pointing to the water system here. So as I said before, either way you cut this bad boy, we're going to have a fantastic year in 2024. We could get some extra smaller surprises, some other things that they throw in there, like maybe the, I was going to say the robot system for buying, or no, the drone shops, which would be really cool. I hope they do that. I hope we see something like the gambling system brought in, like what is it, the blackjack and Texas Hold'em stuff. That'd be a lot of fun to do. Obviously for scrap, not for realsies. So yeah, I think all of this is going to be fantastic. So be on the lookout for these big content pieces. And the official word when it does come down the pipeline as far as the roadmap for this year, I was kind of hoping we get it just before the year was out, but we're still waiting on it. So we'll let you guys know ASAP when that does occur. And if you'd like to watch us get revenge on cheaters, I think you all do, we already have the Cheaterverse admin video up on the end screen, and hopefully we'll see you in the next live stream and on the custom server. Love you, bye.